15 love.
The area that I'm going to look at, Wally, and Nadal talks about the pace of the court. So Nadal's forehand on the return, that's where you serve to a lot of times, because he wants to get around it and cover it, and it's a very hard for him. His swing actually doesn't allow that as much. His backhand returns is the weapon.
I like his position on that first serve. He was not going too far back. I think for Gabashvili, the idea is not to get involved in too many rallies, but to take the chances very early in the piece. That was the type of rally that he just does not want.
Yeah, that's a classic Nadal rally on any surface. And this court, because it has some, it's the shiny court, it actually has some pace to it. You can actually use the surface with a lot of different shots if you've got the court smarts. You know, the slice is very effective, Wally. I mean, it dies away, and you know, if you can hit it with a bit of pace, the sliding serves, the two sliding serves, being on the first court that wide ball, and the one down the tee, down the middle on the second court, you get some enormous value if you've got some great shape to it.
Some good serving from Gabashvili there, just to close out the first game. Good little confidence booster for him. Not so accustomed to the centre courts and the big stadiums, but he usually acquits himself pretty well. A Russian, born in Georgia, Tbilisi in Georgia, moved to Moscow at an early age, then moved to Spain to improve his tennis. Now he's moved to Florida. So like a lot of Russians, they tend to move around and gain experience at other places. And whilst he's been a bit of a journeyman, he's starting to make a living.
And like a lot of Russians, very fiery. Can play good tennis, can play high-end tennis, but mentally they've got this mechanism in them that fires up.
Well, I guess you're talking about Safin, for example.
Yeah.
All or nothing. Can implode at times.
That's what he's got, Gabashvili. He can swing away and hit clean, cold winners. So it makes him dangerous.
Let me see if we can get it turned on. It's okay.
I think Gabashvili's asking about some lights, and it may be the American commentary booth. But Johnny McEnroe's probably controlling those proceedings.
That switch, no, that won't go off. That's the cut that you were talking about. I mean, Nadal got some good left-handed slice on that ball, and it just hits the court and takes off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huge movement off the surface. And the big difference at the Australian Open, that would grab a little and it would come straight through more than cut away with the slice. Subtle differences, but they make a big difference in the end. You can see Nadal, I mean, he's always looking for a forehand. As soon as he'd serve there, it's a big leap over into the backhand corner. And he was stung by that delivery, that return. It was literally down the central corridor of the court.
Well, most players think, I've got the return into the backhand of Nadal, but unless you get it sweet and clean, and it doesn't actually get there with enough time and enough pace, and he gets around it and actually plays from his favourite spot.
Look at that. From where that's bounced on the line, it has actually landed. That's about almost 5 metres before it's hit the back fence.
Isn't this interesting? When Pat Rafter won here, completely different surface, almost, because it was a jumpier surface, wasn't it?
It was, yep. His kick serve got great value. That's good tennis from Gabashvili, and this is what I was sort of alluding to at the start of this match. He's quirky. You never quite know what he's come up with. A couple of huge forehands he's hit for winners, and now look, he plays a smart little point here. He's a tough man to read. I love the way Nadal always makes his opponent play one more point. He was in a tough situation. He said, I'll just put it back and put you in a tough situation. If you're good enough, you'll beat me. It's surprising how many times they don't.
Just caught by the spin there, Gabashvili, but I would have thought maybe stepping up and actually putting a bit more pressure on the Nadal's second serve there. Took that from a long way back, allowed a lot more movement of the ball because they had a bit more distance to travel.
It's hard to chase the spin here. He's a big guy, Gabashvili. He's quite capable of standing up on the baseline and covering all the angles.
You know, we talk about the Nadal serve, Wally, and Nadal has watched, you know, the best players in the world watch each other, and he's taken a leaf out of Roger Federer's book, and under pressure on the big moments, a lot of middle serves. Goes over the low part of the net, uses that middle corridor, enormous amount of the time now, whereas before he used to play more of a bit of a safety serve out wide into the pockets. I suppose if he thought if it's good enough for Roger Federer, it's probably one of the right things to do.
Maybe that came about too, the fact that he's progressed on other surfaces. When he started out, that was in essence the way he played. Cut the serve into the backhand, look for a forehand on clay and just dominate the point from that moment on. But on other surfaces you need cheap points, you need free points, and obviously going over the low part of the net, the percentages are better.
And that's where Nadal will find it tough. It's a big, strong athlete like Gabashvili. If Nadal plays too far back, they can just pound the next ball down the line, and the ball goes away and it chases quickly. And Nadal can't track that ball down and actually play a shot with a lot of time. It's not quite the same as a slow hard court when the ball bounces up and he can get himself over there. So if you're a modern day player, what percentage would you like to come in and finish points off against Nadal on this court? Tricky?
Well, yeah, it's a tricky question because I think a lot would be the answer, but would you get that opportunity? Obviously, you can serve volley. That's in your control. I think it's just, he makes it tough for you. And I think one of the things that he's worked on over the years at Wimbledon and at the US Open, and we saw it in the previous rally. This is a good point from Gabashvili. The wide swinging serve, and there's Nadal making you play one more ball, but nice and direct and deep. The previous rally, Nadal hit the ball very deep because he likes, at the French, you watch him, everything lands service line with a lot of spin and jumps, but he has lengthened his trajectory on the faster courts. I think he makes it tough for you to attack him.
40-50.
I just think when you have the opportunity though, and the ball's in your strike zone, and you actually play a shot, and it's got Rafa on the real true run, I think then you've got to just capitalise on it and come forward and try and finish some plays off.
Yeah, you do have to abbreviate the points. I would agree with that. That's got to be your mindset, and then you have to use your smarts to decide when and where that can happen. But that's got to be your overriding attitude, I would think. Gabashvili, another hole. He's acquitting himself pretty well here in the early stages of this match. No sign of nerves from the big Russian. 2-1 lead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, who's ready to sit courtside? Courtesy of
And you know what Rafa does at the start of the matches? He's an interesting beast. He comes out clubbing the ball in the warm-up, and he sort of he sticks his chest out, and then at the start of the match, he'll pretty much get himself involved in a standard Nadal play where he'll make you earn the points. I just stopped there because there was an interesting conversation going on between Nadal and Gabashvili.
Well, Gabashvili was talking to Nadal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What about?
Well, I'm not sure. It was something about the serve and the racket and this. I'm still not sure what that was. That was quite interesting.
That's a Gabashvili moment, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only he would have a conversation with his opponent about the spin of the ball.
You know, so if I go back to what I was talking about, Rafa comes out and he gives you all the. Here's a couple of results.
Who have we got here? Ram and Reynolds of the USA over Stephen Huss and Andre Sarr of Brazil, 6-3, 6-3. Aspelin and Paul Hanley of Australia defeating Mike Russell and Dmitry Tursunov in 3. And there's Sharapova, too strong in the end for Jarmila Grof. And Mariana Lucic making a comeback from Croatia. Alicia Molik led 5-2 in the first set, but going down in the end 7-6, 6-1. Day 2, Nadal about to serve. He trails 1-2 on serve here. First set. That's the play, isn't it? Yeah. Hard and direct into Nadal's forehand, if you're good enough.
Anytime you get the opportunity, if you can just hit this ball here down the line, look at the court, just slide, it moves away, it goes fast, and Nadal doesn't have the time to get himself around that ball and execute like he would normally do.
full marks to Nadal. This is Gabashvili in isolation, but full marks to Nadal, the way that he has improved his volleys over the years. More determination than great technique, but he keeps it simple, and he's absolutely determined to get plenty of racket, plenty of strings on the ball, and just make that volley.
And he's improved that shot there. The service, you would actually say, outside his movement, I would say he's almost improved every area of his game.
Once again, the depth of Nadal, very impressive. Not going with that low to high trajectory that you were talking about, Roger. Not trying to fizz the ball up high, just smoothing it out, hitting it very close to the baseline. And I'd agree with what you said. He has improved every facet. He'd be a coach's dream. I reckon he'd be so good to work with. Another positive game from Nadal on serve, 2-all.
2 games all for set.
And some people might be sitting back thinking, well, hang on, an unbelievable forehand. Has he improved that? But of course he has, because he now can do so many different things with that ball. It's got a lot more variety to it than what it first came out. Even though it was savage when it first came, it's got some more.
Well, he finds different parts of the court with it, doesn't he? And he can flatten it out, as we're seeing here tonight. And his return has improved. That block return, that wasn't a feature of his play early in the early years. At Wimbledon, he used that block return, the little chip return, to great effect off both wings.
Well, it looked like a comfortable shot from Gabashvili. That's what he's got in his range. That's what's part of his. He's got that as artillery, but there's a lot missing throughout the course of the match to give him that sort of consistency.
He should be pumped too. He's not renowned for his net play, Gabashvili. But have a look at the way he throws himself around here. He must have been quite off-putting. He's all arms and legs at the net there. Barely can control the racket head, but he keeps making the volley, forces the error.
Would Lendl have gone through this?
Yep.
Through Gabashvili there on this ball here?
I think Nadal might have too, if the score was a little more advanced in the set or the match. Because he was so close to the net, that was the obvious shot. Another good game from Gabashvili. Holds on to his serve. He leads 3-2 first set.
When running your business, does it feel like there's no one in your corner fighting for your best interests? Westpac's brand new business product. Bankers with a fight mode feature with the power to get you the right answers. All from the Business Bank of the Year 3 years running. Wouldn't it be great if the person helping you grow your business actually understood your business? Westpac's brand new business product, Bankers with a plug-in feature that enables them to get right inside your business. All from the Business Bank of the Year 3 years running.
The Winnebago Menindee, one of the most luxurious ways to discover Australia. Expect all the features of home, including comfy bed, bathroom and kitchen. The Winnebago Menindee expands to create more livable space and features a satellite dish, a generator, 3 TVs and solar panels. Find out more about all the luxury inclusions found in Winnebago Motorhomes. Call us now. It could be the call that changes your life.
Beautiful evening here in New York. It's approaching 9 o'clock in the evening. A few stragglers from the day session, just having some refreshments. Been unbelievably hot, well over 100 degrees on court, about 100 degrees here in New York City. Not unusual for this time of the year, but it's been pretty constant over the last 3 days, very draining for players and fans alike. Great shot there of Arthur Ashe Stadium, nearly full to capacity this evening. Come out to see the world number 1, Rafael Nadal. Looking all business in black. He trails 2-3. It's on serve. Gabashvili. He's got the size and the shot making to make a match of this. See if he can sustain it.
That's when Nadal gets caught out just with that fast-paced ball. Now, I'm going to talk to you about centre court stadiums at Grand Slams. The 2 best courts, in my opinion, are Wimbledon and here as the most imposing courts. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Wimbledon for its massive tradition and what we as kids grew up and watched on TV in the middle of the nights. And Flushing Meadows just for this the enormity of the crowd and what the New York Manhattan crowd bring to it.
Well, I definitely agree with you about Wimbledon, because as kids we grew up just watching that, obviously, over the years, and it was the place that we all aspired to play. And it's almost like a cathedral. When people enter centre court, you almost lower your voice, treat it with the respect that it deserves. I never got to play on Arthur Ashe Stadium. It was Louis Armstrong when I played, so it's hard for me to say. And but I would imagine the night sessions here at Arthur Ashe must be quite something. To be a player out there in front of 20-odd thousand people, and obviously as the night goes on, they get a little lively. They have a few drinks and they choose their man, they choose their side, and if it's a tight match, I would imagine that'd be something quite special to be involved in.
Almost no rules.
That's good.
Yeah.
You pay a lot of money in tennis. I can't believe that. We tell the patrons to sit down, to keep quiet in other venues. At Wimbledon, it just sort of happens. It's just tradition almost demands it. But at the other venues, I think, Australian Open, it's hot. US Open, it's hot. Have a few drinks, move around. Provided you're not moving around directly behind the player's eye in row 1 or row 2, it shouldn't matter. In the upper bleachers here, you can pretty much move around and no one would ever know. How does it follow through? I mean, it just almost abbreviates the follow through and then rips it up the back of his head. There's so much torque on the ball. Down love 30, 4 straight points in a row for Nadal, 3-all.
Good hold there, Wally. Now, does he rather play at night or during the day?
I always see him as a guy to play in the day when conditions are at their toughest.
But regarding the ball and what it's doing,
well, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because by day he gets more value. Things are jumping around a bit more, but he gets less time to affect the shot that he wants to play.
Correct.
It is. He made the point too that it's always windy here in New York. It hasn't been over the last 3 days, but it can be extremely windy. And Arthur Ashe Stadium, the wind just swirls around at court level.
You know, Gabashvili, we just saw there, that was an unforced error, but is a heavy hitter of the ball, so it doesn't allow you time. So this is a match that you would expect Nadal to get through, but one also that he would be happy to come up against. It's the type of player that he needs to beat to win this event, that type of ball that's coming at him. You know, well, it's like you know, with football teams in Australia and rugby teams, you practice within yourself and you create an environment. But on the tennis court here, during the week leading in, you actually try and play practice sets against players. Now, as a coach, you want to get the right practice partners for your player, also for the conditions, so you can acclimatise a lot better. And so it's almost like a practice match that Rafa would want to have.
This is the type of tennis that he plays, and you think, wow, this guy is good. I mean, it's a sensational point from Gabashvili and a sensational shot to finish it up. And then
he's 94 in the world.
He's 94 in the world, and he's dropped out of the top 100 last year, and he really battles just to get inside the top 100. And you think, how does he get it so wrong? I mean, he's playing extremely well here in these opening exchanges.
I think
that's worth a challenge.
That's worth a challenge.
Because he mishit it. I think this thing dropped very suddenly. Most likely out, but it dropped a lot quicker than I think the linesman anticipated. I was long. You know, I was looking at the wide line. Not by much.
You know, you talk about the ranking and the quality of tennis that Gabashvili is playing, but this is no pressure tennis, isn't it? It's a little bit different.
He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, he's not expected to get through. You know, he could be playing someone who's 50 in the world. He's expecting to get a result in that match. And the same thing here as we saw with Jamila Groth against Sharapova. There's a huge concentration elevation in what you've got to sort of bring out to the court, and you've got to be there for the whole time. Against some other players, he'll feel like he can sort of come and go a little bit. Not against Rafa. That's quite taxing. I think Rafa's ball was in, Wally. Didn't the return off that ball? That was in there, but I know it's...
That was the ball that was called out. That was the Gabashvili forehand.
Not sure why Gabashvili is complaining.
Well, yeah, he's just feeling a bit of tension, having a chat to the umpire. Point will be replayed. He gets a first serve. He's probably disappointed because he had a high forehand there, short in the court, that he could have dealt with.
Wow, that's just gone just inside the line. That was a perfect point. Drive the ball fast, get into net, Nadal doesn't have time to set up, plays a pass from a long way behind the baseline, and if you're quite capable at the net and you've got an idea, you're going to win a lot of points. So what we're seeing here from Gabashvili is a product that he's got to produce for about 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
And that will be the test.
Again, Gabashvili.
Another good service game from Gabashvili. Down the first break point of the match. Held his nerve, played a great point there to get out of trouble, and he leads 4-3 first set.
I got him. Jack, how much for a new 4x2 ute with dual airbags, alloy wheels and tray?
Oh, about 22 grand.
With electric windows, air conditioning and ABS?
Oh, you'd be looking at 24 grand for all that.
Try 17,990 on road. And you're looking at it. It's the great ute of China. And the V240 dual cab 4x2 is only 23,990 on road.
That's good.
No, it's not good, Jack. It's great. The V240 series from Great Wall. The great cars of China.
Meet the Wright brothers of Bondi. They've been trying to fly for years. But no matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't get off the ground. Then one day, they got a NAB Qantas Platinum credit card account, and suddenly they had a bonus 20,000 Qantas frequent flyer points. To get your points, apply now and make an eligible purchase by the 10th of September 2010. NAB. More give, less take.
A view from the blimp looking down upon Arthur Ashe Stadium at night. Huge crowd. Seats 24,000, about 20,000 here this evening. And that is Rafa's feet. Some ankle taping, maybe a little tight. The player's feet and ankles take an absolute pounding on the hard courts. All that deceleration, the sudden jarring in the shoe coming to a quick stop.
And while we hear the noise in the background, we hear the music in the background, what happens here, I think we just, to let out some of our listeners down under, they play the music, and on the big screen they just pan around to the fans, and the amount of dancing that goes on in the American crowds is quite remarkable. Whether you're here, whether you're at the baseball or the football, they just have this passion to get up and show themselves.
Well, I think if you give an American a microphone or a camera, put them in front of either and they perform. And that's why the US Open, they do it at change of ends. They just hit the people with a camera.
Are you part American?
Yeah. No, it's good value. And this is what you're talking about, isn't it? The atmosphere at a night session in New York. And that's what you're alluding to. If you were involved in a match against a good player and you were playing somewhat half decent, it would be fun. That's a view just outside Arthur Ashe Stadium. And still plenty of activity. Still matches being played on the outside courts. First week of Grand Slams, it's busy. Quite unique in the terms of just how much is on offer for the spectator. Nadal to serve, he trails 3-4.
Seats, please.
Yeah, we just got a great indication of the time it takes Nadal to get to the chair and serve. It was like we were waiting forever for the first point we played with Roger Federer. We're already into almost the third point.
player like Nadal, I think he's only going to get slower as the years go by too. His routine's not going to get quicker. Gabashvili, this is what we're talking about at the US Open. If you stand too deep in the court, and he is standing very deep on that second serve, giving Nadal's second serve a lot of respect, you just allow the spin to take effect. Make life difficult for yourself. I like the way Agassi returned on the hard court. Just stood up on the baseline. He had a great eye, obviously, terrific technique, but if you want to watch classic hard court returning, just watch some old footage of Andre Agassi. This is good from Gabashvili. This is what he's got to do. The forehand down the line, thumps the forehand down the line, gets the short ball. Good skills here. Maybe just clipped the tape as it went through, and unlucky. That ball would have been a cold winner.
And again, we saw the reaction from the sliding serve.
4 games old.
Gabashvili not prepared to negate it. You know, the one thing I like about, you look at the champions play, maybe take away, you know, just in the modern game, their emotions are very stable, aren't they? You know, Nadal plays for one reason only, because the love of the game, the love of the competition. Roger as well. It's not a yo-yo effect where they're playing because, or they get emotionally rise up because they're not happy with a line call, or you know what I mean. They're there just for the purpose of, this is the ball, this is what I'm doing with it, and I play every ball on its merits and every point on its merits.
Absolutely, they play in the now. It's this point that matters. What has just transpired, they get over with very quickly.
They eliminate any excess baggage, and you would say 100% of their motor is working for them.
But what a great attribute too. Even if they are feeling a little confused and their mind is racing, they don't show it. As an opponent, you'd never get the benefit of knowing that. They don't give their opponent anything to feed off.
Well, it's a good finish from Gabashvili, but Wally, this court, we talk about the surface, it promotes you to be the aggressor at all times, to play a little bit of safety, you get some quality, and they'll go and deal with it. Then you're on the back foot, and this court will just, the ball will accelerate.
Nadal was doing an unbelievable job there of defending from the serve right through. He's really defending, but he had one backhand there where he could have tried to make something happen, and he played a fairly conservative chip, and a winner was hit off it. That's what you're talking about. That's a lot of power from deep in the court from Gabashvili.
30-15.
But a good shot too. That low camera angle just shows you just how directly he hits it when he gets his first serve in. 94% of the points are being won for Gabashvili. He shouldn't be too worried about making those mistakes. He has to be the aggressor. He's got to try to make things happen. He's up. He's ahead in the count, 30-15. Got a little bit of
that ball
breathing
was there.
space.
That was there to be hit. That's the spot.
He can back it up with that big first serve. 123 miles an hour, very flat. The serve and the forehand doing the damage. Gabashvili now 5-4 lead here in the first set.
Well, interesting game coming up here, Wally, on the service of Nadal, because he needs a lot of first serves in. He's now trailing. He's serving at 52%. Oh, sorry, excuse me. He's serving 71%. It's a very high percentage of serving, but you know, this is one individual game now where he knows if Gabashvili's got the set just around the corner if he can strike it.
Well, he can just blaze away, can't he, Gabashvili?
Yeah.
Maybe catch a few lucky points. First serve in, Nadal 71%, Gabashvili 66%. 2 aces for Nadal, 3 for Gabashvili. And look at Gabashvili, 16 winners to 6. He's the aggressor out there. He's making things happen, and that's what you're talking about. If he can get it right in this game, Nadal will be down a set.
And he would need to keep the winners coming. We would want that. We would want a high winner count from him in this match. And I think anyone who does eventually beat Rafael Nadal on this court will need to be able to have those tools.
Well, you made the comment. You said that Gabashvili doesn't think too much, and that's not a harsh assessment. You're just sort of saying that if the ball's there to hit, he'll hit it, and that's actually the perfect game plan to have against Rafa. There's no point playing within yourself and playing the percentages and trying to work the court, work the point, because you'll get stung every time. If it's there, pull the trigger, have a go. Gabashvili's got the power to do that, and so far he's executing pretty well. Empire State Building there, looking over towards Manhattan on a beautiful New York evening.
Big point here, the first one. This guy's determination when he's in trouble, his imagination, I mean, he changed grips there. He virtually got a continental grip and just played a little hook. So his imagination, the legs are there for a start, then the imagination, then the determination. I love the way Nadal defends. I know it's all about power these days and there's the
making things happen.
There's the looseness from Gabashvili, because to let that ball go was an interesting ball to let go.
Well, he's not the world's greatest bowler, is he?
No.
I think he would have wanted that to go out.
Yeah.
Hope more than anything. What a scramble though. I mean, a big point.
Yeah.
Any Australian juniors watching this? That's how you got to defend, boys.
Girls.
And girls. So he quickly turns a potential love 15 situation into 30 love.
30 love.
But he's a guy that plays with a big Western grip, and there he's with a Continental.
Yeah.
Just
good
skills.
That was a great pickup from you, Wally. Very intelligent tennis observer.
Game Nadal.
Good hold there from Nadal. Locked away at 5 games, all 46 minutes, and generally the Rafael Nadal matches over in 5-set tennis, just a standard 3-set match, generally goes at 2.5 to 3 hours if he wins in straight.
Now we'll get to see potentially why Gabashvili's ranked 96.
There's Nadal playing a little bit of old school tennis because he's just thinking, I'll create a little bit of pressure here. This guy under who's playing me, put the ball back into play. Does he give me an unforced error? Yes, he does.
Paid a price for being deep in the court. You're right. I mean, Nadal, he just wants to get the ball back. He just wants to ask the question of Gabashvili. But maybe a little too defensive there. 5-6 metres behind the baseline. Very tough to track a short ball down.
There's 2 unforced errors in this game.
Now that is not something you'll see too often. Nadal can't quite believe it.
Wow. That went halfway up the net. He's thinking of just bouncing that ball up there.
I tell you, by his standards, that is a huge miss.
Yeah. It's like hitting a golf ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Off the tee for Nadal.
Well, you'd know.
Oh, that's big.
That's the play, isn't it? Just hard and flat into his forehand.
And this court, that off forehand, if you've got the flat ball that can do that, it's almost impossible to retrieve.
Gabashvili holds on. He takes a 6-5 lead here in the first set.
Gabashvili leads 16-5.
Introducing our Quadtron Quad Pixel technology. It adds yellow to the standard RGB color system for colors never before seen on TV. Notice the lifelike color on this yellow seahorse. Oh, sorry. Yellowish seahorse on your TV with 3-color technology. Observe the stunning blue sea. In your mind, that is. Well, you get the picture. Actually, you don't.
Now at Harvey Norman. Introducing Macca's limited edition Angus III. A juicy slab of Australia's favourite Angus, a punchy tomato chilli relish, and plenty of colourful salad. Macca's Angus III. It's the hot new taste and a little bit fancy.
If it happens on the weekend, Gerard Whateley and Mark Robinson will put their knives to it, dissecting all the issues.
The dominant item on the agenda is pure footy.
AFL 360, live 7:30 tonight, Fox Sports 1.
Let's take a look at some of the results of the top seeds. Djokovic in an absolute epic against countryman Viktor Troicki, 6-3 in the fifth. And Jelena Jankovic was forced to work hard against Halep of Romania. She prevailed 7-5 in the third. And Fernando Verdasco against Fabio Fognini. Two very good-looking Latin men duelled it out in five. Verdasco prevailed. Agnieszka Radwanska over Paris Antonia from Spain, won in straight. Svetlana Kuznetsova going to 3 sets against Date Krum. The 39-year-old and Maria Sharapova, the match that we just saw previously. Too good in the end for Australia's Jamila Groth, winning in 3. So a few upsets today. Marcus Bagdatis also rolled in 5 by Arnaud Clement. Bit of an upset.
Well, assuming this gets to a tie-break, which it probably will, it's going to be a very interesting little 10 minutes there, isn't it? Because it's just a hit-and-miss little event there.
That's the perfect scenario, I think, for Gabashvili.
Absolutely.
He's got the serve, he can get plenty of free points, big first serve. He's played well so far. Direct hit on the umpire's microphone. Fair size microphone.
They do it big here in New York.
Speaking of big, Nadal, 117 miles out wide. That's big for him.
Yeah. Biggest tonight has been 131 miles per hour, averaging about 118. Gabashvili at 123 miles an hour.
The net, you can just see him there extending his follow through, rehearsing the shot. The net is not something he hits too often on his forehand. We've seen it twice in the last 2 games. And that's the fact that the ball stays lower than he wants.
And the softness of the ball that he's talking about also.
Why not? That's the play. It's been pretty successful for him tonight. He was down 40-15. Might as well pull the trigger. Tiebreaker now. So who are you going to pick?
Well, you say Gabashvili, you think can get a set. This is it. I think this is the set. So if he's ever going to win a set, it's right here and now. I'm going to still stick with Rafa here.
Hard to bet against Nadal in a tight situation. But I think you're right. This may be his moment to shine. Gabashvili could all get a bit flat if he doesn't win this first set. So there it is again. Just get one more ball back. Just get one more ball back. See what happens.
because even if Nadal's out of the court or out of position, he puts that other ball back, the opposition's still playing him in his mind. I've got to do something a little bit better with this ball. Even though he's got an open court, I must hit it exact. So it's always a constant challenge in the mind. Wow, that's big. That's stepping up.
I think that's a pretty good answer to Gabashvili going hard and flat into his forehand. Just return the compliment. Get on the front foot early. That's exactly what he did here. And then he gets to back away into that corner, which is where he likes to hit his forehand from.
Well, I'll ask you a question. Out of all the players you've seen throughout your career, been coming here for a long time, because you're pretty old.
Yep.
Has there been any other? Is there a rival to Nadal that's played every point like it's a massive point?
Yep. There is one. He's a left-hander. Slightly built. Used a Wilson T2000 in the early parts of his career.
Jimmy Connors.
Yeah. He was...
would you agree that Nadal's he's at the top with that?
He's a bigger, stronger guy, Nadal, and he's sort of more impressive. But Connors was a slighter build. He wasn't a big man, but yeah,
every point is like the biggest point of all time.
Nadal was and Connors share that attribute 100%. Gabashvili got himself back there with a little mini break against Nadal. 1-2 now. Good depth again from Nadal. Not dropping it short, not giving Gabashvili the time to unwind. But no, absolutely, Connors was ruthless. He was mean-spirited, and every point he was so tenacious it was ridiculous.
Had a lot more going on during the match, though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was a great sort of. He kind of engaged the crowd. He drew everybody in. He worked the room. Very interesting character. Once again, forehand finding the net. Good depth from Gabashvili. That's where he's getting his best results. Hard and flat into Nadal's forehand. Connors was a good sledger too. He'd give you an absolute mouthful when you played him.
He had so much more going on than this man, this left-hander.
Good point from both men. Gabashvili showing some good wheels in the end, getting to that short volley. But Nadal just keeps his nose in front 4-2 as they make the change. I mean, this is good scrambling from the big man. Didn't have to watch a repeat of Federer's between the legs shot there, that ball floating long. Did you catch that one last night?
I've never seen Rafa do one. I've never seen him do it in practice. I've never seen him attempt it. I just think it's not, I don't know if it's in his makeup to
not
even
part of
think
his
about
psyche to play a shot that's such high risk.
He probably thinks I can get back around that and actually
hit a
swing on that,
It's why it's a great rivalry, isn't it, between the two, Nadal and Federer. Lefty, righty, very different personalities, very different the way they approach the game, very different the way they train.
It's one of the most unique moments in our sport, I think, and also in sport in general, to have such two elevated superstars, and I mean world. You know, they're just world sports names, and these two guys, not just tennis players, playing at the same time and doing so much for the sport and for themselves.
Ambitious. At this stage of the match,
hasn't played a drop shot.
It's tough to play when you're tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need soft hands. It's not easy.
So Nadal can play for just on an hour right now, and just keep asking you the questions, and eventually he's prepared. You know, if it takes him an hour for you to just break a little bit, that's the time he's prepared to put in.
Just floating along. It was a well-controlled lob down the backhand side of Gabashvili. Couldn't keep it in. 5-3 now, Nadal. That time. He loved to pass cross-court on the backhand wing, and Gabashvili was on his way even before he made contact.
I like this. I like the serve. And then I like this shot here. Doesn't give you enough time. He can set, yes, and hit, but it's not the time that he generally has, Nadal. So you're most times going to get a ball that's coming at you and it's coming on the up. Hasn't got time to dip it. Does he go with the slider here, Wally?
Well, you made the comment that he's more and more on the big points now. He's cracking it down the tee over the low part of the net. That was the old play. That's the play that has stood him so well over the years. Sliding serve, opening up the court, and a nice brave forehand down the line on that occasion. More often than not on a slower court, he would hook this back into the backhand.
The middle serve I was talking about, that's a great play. That's his 1-2. Was the one when he's under pressure. He's down a break point. I love Federer when he's down those points. He generally goes for the tee serves. You might not have been listening to my whole conversation.
No, sorry. I'll pay more attention in future. Anyway, 6-4 Nadal. 2 set points. Sometimes I do switch off when you talk, Rash. I apologise. Tee serve on that occasion, and he gets the job done beautifully, Rafael Nadal. Good set from Gabashvili, but in the end, Nadal too strong. 7-6 in just over an hour. Well, earlier today, we talked about the extreme heat here in New York. Very pleasant at the moment, but earlier today, the players were involved in 43-degree heat, and Novak Djokovic, not known for his prowess over tough 5-set matches in the heat, played Viktor Troicki, and he prevailed. It was a great effort. Both men at the end were really fatigued, but he hung on and got the job done. Novak Djokovic. Now, it was a sensational match. Two good friends, countrymen, and warm exchanges there after the match, and mightily relieved Novak Djokovic, but there were a few colourful exchanges post-match.
How nice was it to get a little bit of shade here in the 5th set? Did that help give you a little bit of energy?
Oh my God. It was like, I don't know, sleeping with my girlfriend, I guess, kind of feeling.
This is a wholesome show. Thanks a lot, everybody. Novak's tired.
This is an awkward segue, but you made a comment about sleeping with your girlfriend out on the court. I heard you say it. What was that analogy to? Like the feeling of...
I don't know. It's just, he asked me for the comparison of the feeling. What kind of feeling was it, you know, to feel the shade and the sun came down and I didn't have any more heat, and what kind of feeling was it? So I just came up to me. I don't know. It's one of the best feelings, I guess, when you're sleeping with your close one, and so I compare it to that.
Must have felt good.
Oh, it felt unbelievable.
That's just how much the shade meant to him.
Oh, look, that's honesty, and that's what we want to hear from players. That's what the public want. They want a little bit of sideways thinking.
His girlfriend's not bad looking too. Now, earlier, or just completed too, David Nalbandian of Argentina took on qualifier Rick de Vust, and Nalbandian enjoying a bit of a resurgence. Won in Washington earlier on the hard court season, and here he is getting the job done in 5 tough sets, and he doesn't look too bad, Roger. Lost a bit of weight, seems to be in reasonable shape.
Yeah, look, he's playing some good tennis, and these courts definitely suit him. He came out back, played Davis Cup match, got involved, so he's in the semi-finals Davis Cup, and it's going to be a very hard player to beat David Nalbandian. This is a sort of surface where he can get a lot of activity done here.
Made the semi-finals here before Nalbandian. He likes these courts. Very technically sound off both wings. Second set now, Nadal serving. Good tight first set. Gabashvili played well. The question is, can he maintain the form that saw him push Nadal to the tie-break situation?
One thing about Gabashvili is, he'll keep coming. He'll keep swinging from the hip. He'll still play some quality shots, but whether he can continue that level.
Yeah, and you know, even that last half volley from Nadal, I mean, I really liked that shot. He had no way of winning the point. He knew it, but he still made it. It's surprising how many times you watch the juniors, they just don't make that shot because they don't want...
They give it up.
...to give the satisfaction to the other guy to hit a cold winner, so they try for something outrageous. Doesn't ask another question of their opponent. I just love that mentality.
Well, you're not, to be perfectly honest, even at the senior level here, a lot of guys, singles guys come in and they get a short ball or a half volley or anything like that. That's a little bit difficult. They don't practice that at all. So it's a bit of a throwaway shot for them.
So does it switch off? That point's over.
It happens. If I win it, I win it. They don't actually, they're not totally committed to making something happen.
Nearly got a racket on that, but once again making Gabashvili play a difficult shot. And Roger, I think the rackets and the string combination, which provide the players with so much power, I think that's what it's leading to, because not every point matters so much, because you can crack. Mathieu hit 72 winners in his match against Leighton Hewitt.
Yeah.
Go wind the clock back 20 years, you'd be lucky to hit 25, 30 winners. So you had to value every point, every little shot meant a lot. Now it's like you can let certain moments go, or certain patches of the match go, because if you can clock up 15 winners in half an hour in 5 or 6 games, you're going to win anyway. Just a little bit too much time for Nadal on the pass. He doesn't make any mistake.
Well, we saw, too, that was a good illustration of the trajectory. Nadal still trying to get on his forehand side here. This is a good pass. Makes him play that volley, and then just gave him a little bit of time there. And that was that was a good effort, though, by Gabashvili just to get this ball back and get an opportunity. But we saw Nadal still opting to go with the real trajectory and keep the depth on the ball. Doesn't go too far away from his main game. There's no doubt about that.
Continually making Nadal hit that forehand on the run tonight, Gabashvili, and it's paid dividends.
Nadal.
Tough to run around a sliding serve. Running around a kick serve is a little bit easier. Ball continually chasing Gabashvili on that occasion. Once again, beaten for spin. This ball cutting off the surface viciously, and Nadal holds his opening serve of the second set. And Roger, I'd like to thank you for your efforts. I know it's time for your nightly bubble bath, manicure, pedicure and facial, so we'll let you go, and joining me will be Josh Eagle.
Thanks very much, Wally.
There's a set in summary. First set in summary, Nadal, 74% of first serves in. 10 winners, 10 unforced errors, always a good ratio in that department. Gabashvili, 19 winners to 11 unforced errors. He played a great set and just didn't quite have the wherewithal in the tiebreaker to get the job done. Nadal just elevated his play, but Josh, a good set all in all from Gabashvili.
Yeah, I've actually been watching this match and slightly surprised that you're surprised by Gabashvili's play, because he's a good player. He played well at the French. He's suited to the hard courts. He's a big hitter, which I thought could cause Nadal a bit of trouble. Yes, he probably can't do it for 4 or 5 sets, but...
No, I said at the start, I thought he's very capable of winning a set. Whether he can, he's just not playing this type of player week in, week out. Whether he can maintain it, that is the question. But he tactically played a smart first set too. He was very determined to go hard and flat into the Nadal forehand, and he did that and he executed well.
So Gabashvili has just taken the ball here. He believes it may have popped, or there's a slight crack in it which loses pressure.
Wouldn't that give... If that was the ball that they played the point with, wouldn't he be able to play two?
You would think so, but...
maybe it was just another ball that was given to him.
Yeah. Good stuff from Gabashvili. All out attack here. This crowd really enjoying the stroke play, the big hitting.
Well, what he's doing well, he's not allowing Nadal, once again, we'll just look at the scrambling efforts of Nadal. Just keeps making you play. But he's just not allowing Nadal to play those 10, 15 shot rallies where he just works his opponent around the court and eventually just wears them down. He's playing the match on his terms. And he got the size and the strength to do it.
Well, that's not what he wants, Gabashvili. He's got too deep in the court here. good 3 or 4 metres behind the baseline, and the moment you are on the back foot against Nadal, just the weight of shot, the heavy spin that he puts on the ball really gets you out of position.
Advantage Gabashvili.
This is the relentless nature of Nadal. First game, second game of the second set, he's in trouble. He's down 40-15 Nadal, but he just keeps coming, keeps asking the question.
Good stuff here again from Nadal. A lot better on the hard courts, isn't he? In this last sort of 12 to 18 months, he's very quick to get back up to the baseline when the ball drops short. I felt sort of 2 or 3 years ago, Wally, that he was so deep in the court and just
remember the matches that he played against Murray here, going back a few years, and Murray likes to swing the serve, and Nadal just kept chasing it deeper and deeper in the court. But even tonight, look where he's standing. Gabashvili's got a pretty decent first serve, but he's not too deep in the court, and more often than not, he's had a bit of forward momentum to make the return. That's when he's at his best, when he's just freewheeling and trying to make something happen.
Yeah, just not a lot of thought here from Gabashvili. He likes the points to be quick and short. This is really an ideal matchup for Gabashvili because he knows that he has to keep the points short, he has to be aggressive, and that's his game. Doesn't like to get into long rallies. He's entertaining to watch, isn't he, Gabashvili? I was in Casablanca early on in the year, and he was playing the local wildcard and lost 7-6 in the third, so you could imagine the crowd. And he was constantly talking to his coach.
He gets very animated, doesn't he?
It was hilarious. All the players that had come out of the locker room to sit in the front row to watch it. It was most entertaining.
But then put him out here in front of 20,000 people against Rafael Nadal, and he quits himself really well. A bit enigmatic.
So 1 game all.
Did you have a beer at Rick's place in Casablanca?
No. Good hold there from Gabashvili. Faced a break point. Needs to hang here. And played with plenty of emotion early on. Lost the first set. Just needs to just steady the ship and just try and hang with Nadal.
The big thing for Gabashvili is going to be his first serve percentage. In that last game there, he started to drop off a little bit, couldn't find his first serve, and if that continues to happen, he will be in trouble. And he's done a good job tonight of getting a lot of first serves in, and he's got a great strike rate when he does get it in. Big part of the game for Gabashvili.
39.
miles an hour out wide. Just shows you the power that he does possess in his arm, Nadal, but very rarely uses on the serve.
So Rafa Nadal holding serve fairly comfortably, and he has taken the first set 7 games to 6 and 2 games to 1 second set.
Are you paying your travel agent a big fat commission for your travel insurance? Nah, save your money for your holiday. Buy Travel Care direct online from Southern Cross Travel Insurance.
Once you've had a Hungry Jack stunner, nothing else will stun you. With Stunner Choices, you can have a tender chicken burger, flame grilled double cheeseburger, or a mouth-watering single cheeseburger with fries, Coke and a sundae. Stunning choices, stunning value from just $4.95.
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Get down to your local Super Cheap Auto for a full-on Father's Day with savings like a Karcher high-pressure cleaner, great value for just $99. And grab assorted tools for Dad, all for under $10 each.
A marvellous evening here in New York, just around 10 p.m. local time. Still extremely warm, and it is expected to stay pretty warm in the next 2 or 3 days, so causing a few upsets, this warm weather to some of the players. But it's a beautiful evening, not a lot of wind, still very, very warm, and that is a great shot of the surrounding courts. The lights are still fully lit on some of the courts. They wash and clean the courts every night, so they're ready to go for the next day. But in this court, this is the biggest court in world tennis, where it seats 25,000 spectators. There's a real buzz around the grounds. Rafa Nadal, world #1, he's having a sensational year. And he has not won the US Open before. The only Grand Slam he has yet to win, and he's seated #1 here. No, we're only 1 set into this match, Wally, and Nadal's 1 set into his US Open campaign. But where do you think he sits in terms of chances of winning the tournament, favouritism?
Well, I think tonight Gabashvili's already shown us that someone that can hit the ball flat and hard, get the ball quickly into his forehand, is going to cause him problems. I mean, that's a very competitive set, 7-6. This style of play will give Rafa problems on this surface. I have to lean towards Federer. I mean, Federer won. This is an hour and 26 minutes of tennis. Federer won in about an hour and 30 last night. So after having watched them for an hour and a half, you can just see that complete game that Federer possesses and how he can just play on his terms. Rafa can be dictated to.
So what you're saying, you think there's probably 3 or 4 guys in the draw that could come out, play well and beat Nadal on any given day, where it probably would not happen to Federer?
Maybe 5 or 6 guys can beat Rafa here. Maybe 1 or 2 can beat Roger. One of them's not here. He's had such a good strike rate with that. Just second shot of the rally, straight into Nadal's forehand, flat and hard. Ball staying low. It has provided Rafa with all sorts of problems.
So 2 games all. The second set. You're saying you think Murray is second favourite or Djokovic?
I think Murray, for me, is the second favourite. We'll get to see a bit more of him as the tournament progresses. Soderling he struggled in the first round. Maybe it's all just happening a bit too quick for Soderling here at the US Open. He's had a great season. Just 1 in 5.
15
Rafa, if he's going to win the title 2 in all, he'll probably have to beat Murray and then Federer.
He hasn't faced too much pressure on serve, Nadal, here. Especially in this second set. He's doing it pretty easily. Court surface certainly gives him help on his serve, gets a few more freebies. A strong service game from Nadal, world number 1. Stays in front. 7-6, 3-2 lead. He's pretty appropriately addressed tonight, isn't he, Wally? He's all in black with the bright green shoes.
Yeah, I'm asking. He's looking at the bottom. Excuse me, do you have any blue ones?
I prefer the black than the fluoro yellow and the pink. I think it makes a better statement.
You are a bit of a fashion connoisseur.
Federer looked snappy last night in the dark navy blue. Players these days, every time they turn up at a major, they've got a different line of clothing.
Especially those two boys, they have their own lines, Federer and Nadal. Good vibe, isn't it, around the grounds in this big stadium? It's pretty much a full house when you look down from our commentary booth into the court.
Just a great night to watch tennis as opposed to today. I take my hat off to the fans that stuck by the matches today, because they would have been suffering just about as much as the players. There was just no air moving around to give anybody any respite, and court around the court, and that includes the stand. Obviously the stand, it almost attracts heat. 110 degrees. And we just make a quick note, our cameraman Lennon Cooper from Adelaide worked his tail off yesterday. Got a touch too much sun, so he's relaxing back at the hotel. So Lennon, fire up for tomorrow, son.
He needs to lift, show a bit more stamina.
Gabashvili, for me, his continued effort is about the first serve. When he gets his first serve in, he's winning 81% of the points. When he's forced to hit a second serve, he's only winning 45% of the points. So if he keeps that first serve high, stays in the hunt, keeps pushing it 4 or 5 all, he may give himself a chance.
He's got a little bit of a technical glitch, hasn't he, on that second serve? The first serve's very good with his feet, the leg drive, how he sort of pushes up. But on his second serve, his right leg comes around so far that he's almost front on and open.
Yeah, he chases the ball, doesn't he? But he's also got a bit of a hitch at the back too, hasn't he? It's not a terribly natural throwing motion. We'll get our serving guru Wayne Arthurs to dissect this service motion.
15 all.
Darren Cahill, an Australian boy made good, lives in Vegas now, works for rival pay TV network. We won't mention their name. For a big man, he's so quick on his feet, Nadal, isn't he? Light and quick on his feet.
Yeah, I just felt early on that point, he sometimes, he's still a little unsure of which ball to be aggressive on and which ball to just to be a bit more passive and neutral. So I think he's still, we haven't seen the best of Nadal on a hard court yet. I think the next couple of years he will get better.
He actually plays some of his most aggressive tennis when he's in trouble, and the opposite is normally true on a hard court. When you get that short ball, you really unload, or that three-quarter opportunity, you take a chance.
He's very much, Nicole Pratt and I were commentating the match earlier, and we were talking about Maria Sharapova and Serena Williams and Justine Henin, how good they are mentally, and when they're under pressure they seem to play good point after good point, and Nadal's very much like that. And Wally, you are right, when he gets down he becomes more aggressive, and I'd like to see him just do that, not when he's down, sometimes
as a constant.
Yeah, as a bit more of a constant, week in, week out.
Big hitting from Gabashvili, just unloading off both wings.
How's the court movement from Nadal?
Yeah,
just incredible.
But how's his attitude to defend? He's so determined. You know, you talk about playing each point at a time. I think a big thing about Nadal and his routines in between the points, he's actually kind of, it's like resetting the computer, rebooting the computer. He just wipes the slate clean, goes through his routine.
Gabashvili, fourth ace of the match.
He's never any quicker or any slower, depending. He doesn't race through matches and get excited when it's tight. He's just got this pre-point routine, and that's the way I think he deals with the moment. Just kind of, that point's over, go through my routine, next point.
It's certainly, at no stage do you see Nadal, very rarely. We may have seen it against Soderling last year at the French, where he was a bit frazzled, uncomfortable, awkward on court. Even when he loses, it's never easy. He always gives his opponent.
And later it transpired that there was a lot of stuff going on
off the
personally
court,
and privately that was affecting him.
What I like about it, nothing breaks down in his game. I mean, you can look at his game and say, yes, his serve may not be fundamentally as good as it needs to be. Biomechanically, you can say his forehand could be better, but the fact of the matter is he has repeated it time and time again under pressure that it doesn't break down. And for these guys, for the Nadals, the Federers of the world, every match they play, these guys are coming at them. Gabashvili's going to try his absolute best. He's going to throw everything at him, and there's no easy matches for Nadal or Federer. It's their grand final every time they play.
And the pressure's on them to perform. If there's one attribute that, if you say what would you take from Nadal, I'd take his head. Just the way he competes on a point-by-point basis.
And again, another easy service game here for Nadal. And this is building pressure, isn't it, on Gabashvili. Nadal racing through service games to love last 2 or 3. And Gabashvili having to come out to serve very quickly again. At some stage, Nadal will get a chance on return.
That is a great approach. Very old school, but that was an absolute knife into the corner. Love to see that on a low camera shot, just how low that stayed on the bounce.
Not a bad ploy, is it? The attack here from Gabashvili on the second serve of Nadal. Ball still pretty new, travelling fast off this court surface. And the thing is, he's got such a high first serve percentage, Nadal, that you don't get a lot of second serves. He's serving at 70% of first serves in for this match. It's generally where he is for most matches. And no problems. Rafa Nadal holding serve. 7-6, 4-3. World number 1 Nadal leads.
1 set to love.
The unbreakable Hilux 4x4. More? We'll pay on-road costs. More? Well, that's free rego, CTP, and stamp duty.
Trust Toyota to give you more.
This week on the Rugby Club.
We cross to South Africa to talk to Nathan Sharp to see how the Wallabies are preparing for this weekend's massive Tri-Nation showdown in Bloemfontein.
So join the club, the Rugby Club, Wednesday nights, Fox Sports.
Fountains are in full flight there, and some of the fans just dipping the feet in, keeping cool on this extremely warm day here in New York City. And let's just check in on some of the seeds who have been bounced out of this year's Open. Nali, the 8th seed, is gone. Katarina Bondarenko, too good. Baghdadis losing 7-5 in the 5th to the veteran Anu Clement. And Ernest Gulbis going out in straight sets. Radek Stepanek just coming back was not good enough against Julien Benneteau, and Peter Polansky from Canada defeating world number 30 Juan Monaco from Argentina in straight sets. So a few of the big guns have survived and some of the other seeds are out. 5 seeds are out on day 2 here at the US Open. And Wally, I can't help but think just the way that Nadal has been holding serve, he's been building pressure, that he's got to get a chance. And if it's not this game, I feel like in the next 5 or 10 minutes on this Gabashvili serve.
It's a problem for him. He's only had 2 break points the whole evening. So whilst the pressure is there, the constant pressure is there, he hasn't really created a lot of chances for himself. And I think This is where he struggles on the hard courts of the US Open, just to give himself enough chances to break. Sometimes you look at players and they might get 17, break point opportunities and only convert 3 or 4 times. It's not easy to do on the quick court, so you've got to give yourself plenty of opportunities to get a look at a break point.
And that's another point right there. You see Nadal, he's gone for a slice backhand, but again he was ripping, he was aggressive, and then tried to be defensive with a little or a change up. He just hasn't quite worked out.
He can't. The patterns that he so enjoys on the slower courts, he just loses. Those patterns are lost.
I totally agree.
And so then it's just a different game for him. And that is the shot. A forehanded backhand that has done so much damage tonight.
And his patterns are very simple on clay. It's just heavy, high over the net, and just wait until he gets a short ball and then pounces. It's very, very simple, but you just cannot play like that.
Well, he gets the ball above the shoulder of his opponent on the backhand side. They make a weak reply, and from that moment on, he just hammers the backhand until such time as he's got space to do something down the line. So once again, Nadal unable to get too close to the Gabashvili serve, or
he's playing well, Gabashvili. He is.
He's maintained it for longer than I thought he could.
That's right. That's the point that I just was getting at earlier. I thought we might see a few cracks appearing, but no. Stuck to his guns. Good game plan. Good strategy. He's done his homework. Now the pressure swings back to Nadal.
Not too often that Gabashvili's got the first point in a returning game. Let's see if he can create something from here.
Didn't miss by much this attempted pass.
15.
So accurate, isn't it? When you haven't got a target to be that accurate, that hit the ball that closely to the line is a great skill. You'll see passing shots thread the needle when you've got a point of reference, but Nadal just virtually hitting into an open court there, hit it within millimetres of the line on the run.
Wonderful hitting from Gabashvili here. It's just all out attack.
But how's this shot here, right here? This misses by
not much.
A couple of ball widths. I mean, not much in it. He just keeps got his great radar to try to find the court, Nadal. Incredible shot. 30 all.
It's not just his movement, it's his ability to read the plays, anticipation, all those very, very good players have it.
He's definitely been more willing to do that over the course of this year. Put a bit more onto that first serve, try to get a cheap point. Essential. I think on a faster court, this US Open surface, you've got to be looking to get at least 2 free points a game off your serve.
So Rafa Nadal, 5 games to 4 lead. Has taken the first set 7 games to 6.
Fox Sports News brings you the richest Grand Slam of them all, the US Open 2010. Daily match action, the latest news, exclusive interviews from right here at Flushing Meadows. Fox Sports News, Channel 513.
Introducing Macca's limited edition Angus III. A juicy slab of Australia's favourite Angus, a punchy tomato chili relish, and plenty of colourful salad. Macca's Angus III. It's the hot new taste and a little bit fancy.
These roads can take us anywhere. Who else got mad, babe? We don't care. I got room for 2 up in the front. So come on, honey, slide on up. Get on, get on. Take me where we belong. Get on. Got a voice, inspires me.
The 2010 Isuzu D-Max, made from history.
Under the lights here in New York City, Rafa Nadal, the world #1, has taken the first set and he's leading 5-4. That is what is coming up next. Women's first round action. We've got the #1 seed in action, Caroline Wozniacki, in sensational form. She'll be up against Chelsea Gullickson, a wild card entrant. Caroline Wozniacki is in great form. She's won the US Open Series, so she's been the best performed player on the hard courts the last few weeks. And Molly, I know you like Caroline Wozniacki.
I do. #1 seed. Not sure she's the favourite, but you're right. She's had an unbelievable summer. Has she played too much? We'll find out. There's always that fine line you walk as a top player. You don't want to overplay coming into a major, but you need enough matches to be at your best.
Well, she played a lot, and every dollar she earns here is effectively doubled, because that's the reward you get from winning the lead-up events.
Gabashvili, he's getting better as this match goes on. I thought he'd drop off in form, but it's not the case.
No, I'm surprised too. I just thought Nadal, with his intensity, he would get chances, and he hasn't. Really hasn't had a look in at all on return.
another thing too, Josh. If Federer was playing Gabashvili, standing toe-to-toe with him is not easy. He kind of enjoys the pace and he has a crack and he does well. Federer would have options. He could serve volley. He could use his chip, little off chip, play some drop shots, take the ball out of his range, give him some junk, block returns. There's this whole other sort of artistry that he can employ to break someone's rhythm down. And Rafa's not like that. He has patterns of play. They're very consistent. But at the moment, that pattern is not overly bothering Gabashvili. But there's not much, it's not as though he can quickly start serve volleying or tweak it with some great backhand slices.
Yeah, he really only knows one way.
And that I think is a bit of his problem here at the US Open.
I think he gets away with it on the grass at Wimbledon because he's such a great athlete. And
I think being a lefty is a huge advantage from, with that serve on the grass, that swinging serve he uses to great effect. And the grass now at Wimbledon is a lot slower than it used to be. It's slower than the US Open. I never thought I'd say that. Or see that. Using a different blend of grass over the last 5 or 6 years at Wimbledon. It's appreciably slower. The courts are harder, they bounce higher.
Right side baseline. What was called in?
Well, there's a challenge here from Nadal.
I don't know why he challenged, because Gabashvili was never going to do any.
He got the ball back in play as well. Well, he obviously saw it long, saw the mark.
He was certain. So urgent with his first step, Nadal, when he has to get round that backhand, looking for a forehand. Not only does he get to the side of the ball, but he gets around the ball. He moves back and then around, so he's got a bit of forward momentum coming back at the shot. Terrific first step.
Nadal moving ahead. 6 games to 5 second set. He's taken the first. 7 games to 6. Welcome back to the US Open. And it is a night session here that we are certainly enjoying. Rafa Nadal in a dogfight against Gabashvili. He's won the first 7-6 lead, 6 games to 5. And just checking some of the stats, they are impressive. Both guys serving particularly well, and hence we have a tight scoreline. 71% for Nadal, 69% for Gabashvili. And that winner count, 33, very impressive for Gabashvili from the back. And just 18 for Nadal, and 6 aces for Gabashvili, and about 4 there for Nadal. So it's a quality match, and one Nadal is in the thick of.
And both players, for different reasons, just cannot put any real pressure, any break point pressure on their opponent. Nadal has had 2 for the match. Gabashvili just the 1.
Well, you'd have to say it's the high percentage of first serves in. 71 for Nadal, 69 for Gabashvili.
It's a nice night too. No wind, no variables to toy with the ball toss or make it tough for the server. Yeah, Gabashvili moves well for a big man.
Well, they all do these days.
He really, he can look a bit ungainly at times, but his movement is pretty impressive.
I'm surprised Nadal hasn't decided to stand really far back on return, just to try and change things up. He has persisted with the same return stance. On clay, he moves forward, he moves very far back. Just hasn't changed it up.
Haven't seen too much of that tonight. He just leaned into that. He's probably approaching 88, 90 kilos. And every kilogram was leaned in on that ball. That was an absolute cracker. Carlos Costa eating chips. Looks pretty relaxed. Uncle Tony just to the left of him.
Too good from Nadal.
Well, he did it there, Josh. He retreated. He retreated and he threw up the, what would you call that? It was almost a topspin lob.
Heavy.
And that gave him the short reply.
Well, maybe he was just waiting to get one chance. He hasn't been at 15:30 and he did it just then.
I think he's got his Fox Sports ears on. He heard you.
Probably.
Definitely skipped back in the court and completely changed the trajectory. And now we've just been surmising how he was going to get some break points, and he's got 2 of them right here.
Set point.
Does he go back again looking for the forehand?
Well, he wanted to, but it was an excellent second serve from Gabashvili.
Well, it's tough on that side, isn't it? And we just saw him hit an absolute belter of a backhand across court on the rise, and that's maybe how he's got to approach the return on that side. Tough to run around that sliding serve, chasing you all the time.
Oh, Gabashvili. Great point, great stuff here. Down a set point.
How well is he playing?
He's playing like a top 20 player. Heavy, no signs of nerves, hesitation here. That was a good volley. And Nadal to get this one back. No problems. Gabashvili just sticks it, puts it away.
He's just playing with complete freedom, Gabashvili. I mean, he's swinging from the back of the court, and particularly the forehand. There's no hesitation whatsoever.
I do think the slice backhand that Nadal is using from time to time on, well, we see it on clay, but here on hard courts, it's just not effective at all. What it does is it just allows someone to attack him, gives them time, whereas on a clay court, he gets a bit more value out of it because it gets a bit of an awkward bounce. Here, I think he needs to leave that slice in the bag and focus on just hitting the double-hander.
Unusual error there off a second serve, trying to chase the spin.
Right, strong.
Not a bad sequence of points from 15-40 down.
Nice. Not just strong hitting, but mentally to be able to stay with the unrelenting Nadal. That's impressive.
That's got to give him a bit of momentum too going into the tiebreak. Bit of confidence.
A big 10 minutes or so for this match coming up. Good footwork. He is a very good athlete.
Ready.
Crowd are happy. They're getting their money's worth tonight. 2 hours and 3 minutes the match has been in progress. We still haven't seen the second set completed. That's good court coverage.
Yep.
He couldn't control it in the end, but 6-3, 6-4, and he's moving like a gazelle. Have a look where he is here. So he's 2 to 3 metres outside and deep of the alley, and he gets there with time to spare.
That's a good 30-metre sprint.
Yep. He decelerates quickly and he powers quickly back into the court. Gabashvili, deceptively good mover. One love Nadal. You know what he can't do, Nadal, that I think would just build pressure and ultimately give you the break that you need? He can't take that ball and come in. Just think of Marty Fish, the way he returns off that backhand side every now and then, just leans on the backhand and just follows it in. It just takes so much time away from the server. I mean, that second serve bounced 74 miles an hour. It bounced almost a third of the way up the service box, and Rafa waited for it to come to him.
That's a shot. The moment he takes pace off and he's forced to slice on a hard court, these guys are just too good.
Nadal's slice, it almost has too many revolutions and it tends to balloon. He almost be, well, it's all to do with the grip, but he doesn't hit it flat enough. He doesn't get the penetration through the air and then through the court.
It's like he's got the racket face too open.
Yeah, he cuts the ball way too much. So.
He needs to close it down a little.
Probably double the amount of revolutions that he needs on that slice.
Big couple of points here for Nadal. Momentum with Gabashvili.
That's actually the one he has more trouble with, just the slower ball sliding or curling into his forehand. That's the one that he shanked more often than not.
So Nadal, 3-2. It's been on serve this tie break.
You see that he's just telling himself to go forward to the ball. I tell you, on the second serve, I would love to see him just skip in. Like he did that one time in the rally with his backhand. Just skip in and crack it on the rise. The Gabashvili second serve is not that potent. First serve good.
That's long. So the first mini break.
He had Nadal going the wrong way. Didn't need to be that good.
No, I get what you're saying with Nadal and needing to move forward. Or I just think it's too difficult because he's got so much spin on his ball. And it is very difficult for him to get organised in time and just to flatten it out. Yes, he probably can do it, but he doesn't have that compact swing like a Nalbandian to hit and move forward.
I was going to say, think of Nalbandian, think of Hewitt, think of Marty Fish. The way that they take the racket face back on the double-handed back, it's very flat.
Simple.
And then they go straight flat back through it. Nadal actually has a closed racket face. And then it's a different swing, a bit like the Djokovic backhand.
It has to close, then open.
And then try to find the flatter face to stroke through the ball. So it's a whole different set of circumstances, but...
And the same can be said with his forehand. There's a lot going on when he takes it back until he actually makes contact, so he doesn't have time to really do it. Got to leave the slice at home.
4-3.
I think there's value for it for someone who slices well, but I still think his backhand return, double-hander, is a better shot than a slice backhand chip.
Gabashvili, he waits for the ball to come to him. How many times have we seen him on the slower ball just crack it and then his body weight's almost moving to the net?
I think he changed his mind at the last moment. He's been going off with that forehand into the forehand of Nadal. This time he changed his mind and tried to go cross-court.
A little reprieve there for Nadal. Now at 5-3, if he gets this point, you think he's home and hosed, and at 2 sets to love, the match might be his. Big point.
No problems. So Rafa Nadal sets up 3 points, 3-set points. His camp breathing a lot more comfortably after this.
Watch the follow through on this forehand. It never passed in front of his body.
Was that a lasso?
Helicopter? Yeah.
It was out on the ranch.
But the racket head did not go in front of his face. It actually made contact with the ball and then finished well behind his head.
Sage one. That is his bread and butter, that serve. He's gone out wide.
6-4.
A lot of big points tonight. Right, he's taken it, Rafa Nadal. He's got the second set, 7 games to 6. And he now takes a 2 sets to love lead over Timurez Gabashvili. So it's night time here. Let's just turn our attention to what is happening tomorrow night at the US Open. Day 3. We've got Australia's Sally Pearce taking on the defending champion, the number 2 seed Kim Clijsters. Wow, what an opportunity for Sally Pearce, and a great story getting through in qualifying and winning her first round here. 6-love, 6-1. So in good form, Sally Pearce, and no doubt a very, very big occasion for her. And following that, that will be Janko Tipsarevic up against Andy Roddick. Janko Tipsarevic has one very talented player, and Andy Roddick battling a little bit. He will have his work cut out, but always puts on a brilliant show here under the lights. So a wonderful lineup for day 3, the evening session here at the US Open. And you can catch all that action right here on Fox Sports. So joined now by Wayne Arthurs. Wayne, I know you've been sitting here enjoying this action, and fair to say, Tamiris Gabashvili is giving Rafa Nadal one very big fight. He's playing well.
He's playing excellently. He's giving a great account of himself out here, as he did do at the French Open earlier on in the year, making the 4th round. He's a tricky customer, especially on this quicker surface here at the US Open. Creating all sorts of problems for Rafael Nadal out here. But Rafa being Rafa, he's found a way to be 2 sets to love up. He's just a complete competitor, Rafael Nadal.
No, I just wonder whether we will see Gabashvili just fall away a little bit, because the tennis he has displayed well over 2 hours, 2 hours 11 minutes, has been very, very good. Quality has been there. And Wayne also, it's a big ask to come out here under the lights in this stadium. He would not get the chance to play a lot of matches on a big court like this, and he's handled the occasion accordingly.
He's one of those personalities that seems to just rise for the occasion. I'm not expecting to continue in this vein, but I'd also expect Nadal to raise his game just slightly.
I think he'll be relieved, Nadal. I think he'll certainly be feeling that he's in a good position to go on. Had a good run, Tamiris Gabashvili, at the French, where he made it through to the round of 16 as a qualifier, knocked out Andy Roddick in straight sets before losing to Jürgen Melzer.
Extremely unlucky there. Rafa's hit a big shank off a very, very well struck forehand from Gabashvili. Ended up being just an easy put away for Rafa.
He's got some serious power, hasn't he, Gabashvili?
Well, he certainly has. You sort of wonder why he's only ranked 93. And over a year, obviously, you can't continue to do this day in, day out. I think for me that's the difference for Rafa on this surface relative to the other surfaces that he plays throughout the year. You wouldn't see him missing that shot on the slower surface. He just hasn't got time to set himself properly on the faster US Open court. I would guarantee you at the Aussie Open or somewhere he'd make that 9 times out of 10.
Strong start for Gabashvili. This clocks another backhand winner. It's the first game of the 3rd set, and I think not just the pace of the court which is hurting Nadal, it's the fact that the court is not bouncy. He gets away with it on the French and the Australian Open because the ball bounces up high, his short replies. So we just take a look at set 2 summary. Gabashvili serving up at 70%. That's very, very good.
It's a very clean set there from Gabashvili, isn't it? 19 winners to 10 unforced errors, 12 of 14 points won at the net. He's had great success coming forward. You probably look to the other guys in the draw, seeing that stat and thinking there's probably a one way to beat Nadal is to come at him on this court.
So Nadal serving with new balls.
A smart serve with the new balls, slicing that down the tee. They'll have a little bit of pace, a little bit more extra pace on the ball. Ball's a little newer. From Nadal's point of view, it's just a rebuilding of the pressure here. He's 2 sets to love up. They'd have to start again in this set, just rebuild. And it's a quick fire game so far. Nadal at 40 love. 3 very good first serves. Asking the question again of Gabashvili.
I'm just going to get on the blower.
A love service game.
One game
for Nadal. Goes for a change of rackets. He changes his rackets after playing one game with the new balls. Unlike most players, the very top players, when there's a ball change, they change straight away. He feels more confident of playing just the one game with the new balls and then goes straight for a new racket. Got the black strings in his racket. I think that's another reason why he's playing a lot better this year. He's getting a little bit more power, a little bit more pop off his racket, spin. He was playing with a fairly dead string for the majority of his career until this year. He has changed to a very, very lively string, giving him a lot more help.
Super power from above your shoulder from Gabashvili. And Nadal was standing very deep in the court to return that ball and made a pretty good return. But Gabashvili, from above shoulder level, he's probably hit that about 140 k's an hour. That's good ball striking.
And lots to like about Gabashvili. He's got good racket head acceleration. He's a great athlete for a big man.
He's also learned his craft down in Spain as well.
He's got weapons, and this is what you get when you grow up playing on clay. You have to be able to generate power. You have to have racket head speed. You cannot sit there and absorb your opponent's power. And this is where the clay courters have such an advantage when they transition onto a hard court.
It's just going to be a case for Gabashvili whether he can keep that high level of hitting up over the next hour or so to keep in this match.
Unfortunately, he's got to keep it up for another 3 hours if he wants to win. And that is a massive ask.
Game point here for Gabashvili. Go ahead 2-1.
Gets away with it. Just a little bit of an apology there from Gabashvili. Didn't mean it to be that cute. So Gabashvili holding serve, leading 2-1, third set. Rafa Nadal, the world #1, leading 2 sets to love here. Looks like there'll be a change of ball kids here. I don't know if we can actually call them ball kids because...
What do we call them here?
Ball men.
Ball men.
Ball men. They have a policy here at the US Open. Once you become a ball person, if you can stay as long as you want. So the moment you leave, you don't come back the following year, that's it, you cannot come back. So I think last year there was a ball person who was 39 years old. So
I remember being intimidated a couple of times by the ball people. They were quite large men, and I was like, please sir, can I have the ball? It certainly is unique the way they throw the ball around the court here.
So Nadal, 2 sets to love as we see. Hasn't converted on a break point, Nadal, and Gabashvili just having the 1 break point. Forehand winners favouring Gabashvili as they are on the backhand count, but it's a rock-solid Nadal from the back who is having to work pretty hard for his win tonight.
Hard pressed to actually, if you didn't know the score, you'd think Gabashvili is actually winning this match by those numbers. It's Nadal's abilities on the big points that shines through time and time again. Nadal to serve 1-2, third set.
Right side service box.
Oh, that was a big curler if it was in. I think it might have been a little bit long. No, looks like Gabashvili's conceding there. Realise it's in. That's a great serve. A lot of curl on that serve. A rare miss on the forehand side from Rafa there. He still believes. There's great body language from Gabashvili, bouncing around. It's good to see.
Yeah, he's definitely kept his emotions in check, because that is one thing that has got him into trouble. Oh, stunning pass here from Gabashvili. Off balance, well behind the baseline. And this is just one unbelievable backhand. Strong, very strong through the hips.
Great knee bend, feet behind the ball after he's hit the ball. Perfect execution of a backhand cross-court pass.
Not many better ball strikers going around at the moment. And this is very good hitting for a sustained period.
He'd be disappointed with that miss. He knows Nadal's not going to kick that ball down the tee. He should be waiting on that one. Took his eye off the ball on that occasion. Back to 30-all.
Right play here from Gabashvili.
40-30.
Intimidate Nadal by going hard straight through the middle of the court, just over hitting.
I love that camera angle that they show. It really shows the speed and height and trajectory of the ball. I wish they'd show that a little bit more often. It's a real player's perspective. Oh, it's wonderful hitting from Gabashvili. First the backhand, depth on the backhand, set up that forehand, pinpoint accuracy into the corner.
Well, this is
one here, nice and deep.
Have a look how far behind that baseline he is. What, 4 metres?
At least 4 metres there. Great timing. And that was the game plan he came out with, and he stuck to his guns the whole way through this match. He knows that he can't run around the baseline with Nadal.
It's very much how the game evolves. The forehands 5 or 6 years ago were a lot heavier with more spin. Now players are going back to flattening out that forehand more often.
Again, should Gabashvili be sitting on that just slightly more?
Yeah, he goes there often, doesn't he, on the big points, Nadal. So 2 games all. 3rd set. 2 sets to love. Nadal leads. But he's been pushed all the way tonight, the world #1. And he is not there yet. This man certainly has played composed tennis.
He's really enjoying the moment, isn't he? He loves being out there, loves being in front of the crowd. And he doesn't want his time to end. He wants to take this into 4, hopefully 5 sets. There's a first serve percentage one there, 76, 77% respectively. That's pretty healthy numbers. Big heavy ball from Rafa there, that's how he likes to play. Caught Gabashvili unawares there, got high up onto his forehand side, just overhitting the forehand. 15-all. Slight chance for Nadal. Again, having the courage of the convictions, moving up into the forecourt. Look at that net points won, 90%. That's good risk reward tennis right there. 30-15. Well, so far this match has been a waiting game for Nadal. He's been a spectator in a lot of these rallies. Gabashvili is dictating pretty much every point. They're doing a pretty good job at it.
Well. Break point out of nowhere here for Nadal. He's had 4 for the match. They came really early in the match and has not had too many chances on return. So
that's twice in this game that Nadal's been able to hook his forehand high up to Gabashvili, getting him back deep in the court. It's paid dividends. And that slice is just not good enough. It's not a overly technically well produced shot. And it's showing up on the faster courts that he just chops down too much on it.
He has time to run it down on the clay, doesn't he? Because he's just such a good athlete. But on these hard courts, the ball just sits and props.
Well, that ball tosses way out to the right. He was really reaching for that one. And in effect gets no pace at all. And it just lulls it into the bottom of the net. Back to Juice. Just a raised eyebrow from Nadal. He thought he played that pretty well. It's a great change of direction from Gabashvili. He certainly can go off, cross and up the line hard on his forehand side.
Hanging tough, Gabashvili survives the break point and keeps his nose in front. 3 games to 2, third set. Rafa Nadal, 2 sets to love. So Louis Armstrong Stadium, we've got a tie break in the third set here, and it is match point for the German Andrea Petkovic against the 17th seed Nadia Petrova, and that is another upset. Andrea Petkovic, who's been in pretty good form this year, is certainly very happy about this win, as she should be, because that is some good stuff out here on Louis Armstrong Stadium. And check out the jig. That's a Wayne Arthur's dance.
You gotta love that. Gotta love the enthusiasm. Just pure excitement there.
Yeah.
Petkovic.
Great win, great stuff. So Petkovic too good for Petrova there, 7-6 in the third, and a few other seeds are out. Bondarenko too good for Nali. Anu Clement going through 7-5 in the 5th set against a tired Marcus Bagdatis in the middle of the day. Boy, it was hot when those boys were in action. And Petkovic over Petrova. Jeremy Chardy, the Frenchman, is too good for Ernest Gulbis. Gulbis, the 24th seed, out in straight sets. And Radek Stepanek making his way back onto the tour after a virus was not good enough for Julien Beneteau and Peter Polanski, a qualifier. That's a great result for the qualifier. Too good for Juan Monaco, the 30th seed from Argentina. A straight sets winner there. So quite a few seeds are out, and I firmly believe that the weather had a fair bit to do with a lot of those results today.
Oh, it was extremely hot all day today. Fahrenheit over the 100 mark. 43 degrees Celsius on court at one stage. And the weather over a two-week period can take its toll on many of the seeds, as it has done today. And we're back here live. You don't need that sort of luck when you're number 1 in the world, do you?
No, you've got enough. You need to give a little to the other players, but I like his intent here to flatten it out a little, try and be more aggressive. But still, the take back is so big, it takes a lot of time for Nadal to be able to flatten it out. Not as simple as the take back that we see from Gabashvili. What did you think of the Andrea Petkovic dance after that win against Nadia Petrova? I know you're quite a keen follower of dance.
Well, it certainly doesn't look contrived in any way. It just looked like that she was just pure emotion.
Yeah, good win.
It's great to see that sort of emotion coming out from the underdog. When you have a big win, why not? Good solid game here from Rafa Nadal, putting the onus straight back on Gabashvili. That's the way he's played pretty much this whole match. Just a good solid performance, playing the big points well. Crunch, Gabashvili. Another huge forehand.
15.
Certainly is just swinging from the hip. That's all he can do to stay in this match at the moment. For 40-15. How much faster do you think the courts are here relative to Wimbledon? You know, we always talk about grass being the fastest surface going around, but this is much quicker.
Much quicker. The ball is smaller. Using a different ball here. This is a Wilson ball compared to the Slazenger ball at Wimbledon. The Slazenger ball is a lot heavier with more fur, and it certainly fluffs up. This ball here hits the court and gets smaller, gets less fluff on it. So Nadal having to work hard. 3-all, third set.
3 games all.
Still very, very tight. I think also the fact that the bounce of the court is not high here. It's almost a skidding bounce, whereas at Wimbledon it hits the grass and almost bounces up very, very high.
Yeah, certainly there's a lot more propping sensation at Wimbledon than there is here. It's just strange that we talk about grass not being the fastest surface.
I think it's sad.
On the tour these days.
I think it's a bit of a shame that they changed the seed of the grass. And certainly has really had an impact on the pace of the game and the way the game is played at Wimbledon. He hits this so well, Gabashvili. Very good to skip around.
15.
See that shot on clay there for Nadal, his forehand would have bounced up really high and heavy. There's no way Gabashvili could have played that shot.
This is sitting in the hitting zone, isn't it, on this surface? Gabashvili knew he was in a bit of strife halfway through that point after he hit the drop shot here. This one here. He goes, oh, I'm in a bit of strife here. Makes a good attempt at the pass.
We haven't seen a lot of emotion from Nadal tonight. We haven't seen the fist pump. He's kept it all in check.
It's pretty much as it has been on Gabashvili's terms, I think. He hasn't been able to dig his teeth into too many rallies. That's a great pick-up from Gabashvili. Did all the right things except execute the volley.
Very aggressive on the volley, Gabashvili's.
One of the few points he's actually lost at the net. Created himself a little bit of a hole here. 15-30, 3-all in the third set.
Well, 15-40 now. Nadal wins another couple of break points. He has yet to break in this match. It's been on serve for both players.
I just would expect Nadal right here to put up the defences, refuse to miss. And Gabashvili's going to have to make all the play in the next few points if he's going to hold here.
Oh, he's missed it. Well, Rafa Nadal has missed a sitter backhand on break point.
And that's very rare from Rafael Nadal. Missed such an easy ball. He played a perfect point.
It just highlights again that I just don't think he is comfortable at all on this surface. He still should have made that, no question, but...
And one more break point here.
Yeah,
That's incredibly good hitting. Free hitting from Gabashvili.
Just wonder how much frustration is starting to build here for Nadal. Missing that backhand. Easy backhand at 15-40. It just creates just that little bit of doubt in the mind.
Advantage Nadal.
You have to think this is the one. It's only so long.
A sign of a true champion there. Just puts all the frustration out of his mind. Just plays one more good point. Give himself another opportunity to break.
Oh, he's done it. Nadal finally has been the first man to get a break in this match.
Nadal.
And he now leads 4 games to 3.
2 sets to
third set, and he has a 2 sets to love lead.
Nice chair. Drink? No, I'm good. Nice chair.
From camp chairs to fishing gear, if you love getting away, you'll love BCF, Australia's greatest boating, camping and fishing store.
In the 150th Melbourne Cup, and here comes Subrasive. He's swamping them, and it's Subrasive's Cup.
Imagine owning the winner of the 150th Emirates Melbourne Cup. Well, the TAB #1 club could make this a reality by giving you the chance to win a share in Group 1 winner Subrasive each time he runs during his spring campaign.
Subrasive won the Rosehill Guineas in the autumn. Now I'm preparing him for the big one on the first Tuesday in November.
To find out how you can win a share of Subrasive this spring, visit winsubrasive.com.au.
So a wonderful evening here at the US Open, the Billie Jean King National Tennis Centre. About 45-minute drive from Manhattan out here, Flushing Meadows. That's on a good day too, Wayne, isn't it? That's if there's no traffic.
Yes, no traffic from Manhattan out to Flushing Meadow. Could take you anywhere between 45, as you said, to 2 hours on a really bad congested day.
So it's Rafa Nadal looking to close things out here. He's up 2-0, 4-3 with a break. Just the one break, which is pretty amazing. In as good as these guys are returning, that was just the first break of the match.
It was the first real sign of emotion, wasn't it, from Rafa after he broke? It was more relief.
Yep, absolutely.
Than anything else. This man has been playing exceptional tennis for 2.5 hours. Finally, Nadal has broken the shackles.
Nadal's challenge on the call. Right side service line. Ball is called out.
Here's a challenge from Rafa. He thought that ball was good. Both unsure.
What's happening, baby?
Seems to be a slight glitch in the system. If we don't have anything, I believe the original call stands.
Pick up the front, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not working on the board, but our review official says it's 10-0 out. Second serve.
Well, the official review didn't come up on the screen, but the review from the third umpire, so to speak, was that it was 10 mils out. Bit of an odd situation there.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often. Split step, just charging the net here, Gabashvili. No balance.
He just runs straight through that ball, didn't he? It was the right idea to hit the drop shot. He was trying to pinpoint the drop shot into a very small part of the court. He just dropped that straight in front of him. Or just a little cross. It brings up 3 game points for a 5-3 lead for Rafa.
I think he's got a bit of work to do, Nadal. on the practice courts. I don't think he's at his best. As good as this man has played, Gabashvili, I still think Nadal hasn't quite found his rhythm, his way to go about his work, his actual game style.
The problem for Nadal, as he progresses through this tournament, he'll play more and more night matches where the court will not be as bouncy as it is during the day. So he'll have to overcome that problem.
Nadal. Just one game away now, 5-3. Third set. Took the first two sets in tie breaks. Even last week or 2 weeks ago when I saw him play in Cincinnati, he was quite lucky. He was down match point against Julian Beneteau. And Cincinnati used to be slow, but I felt this year it was a lot quicker. And the courts are just that sort of 5 to 15 or 20% quicker. He just doesn't get enough time.
Certainly against the opposition such as Gabashvili, who's hitting the ball very fast through the court, and the big swings of Nadal can't quite catch up with the ball.
Good depth here from Nadal. Just flighted it, gave it a little bit more air. Fair to say it's the first time now where Nadal is really in control. Just 2 points away.
It has taken a while to get to this point though, hasn't it? That's just a great point from Rafael Nadal. That's what we've come accustomed to seeing from him. A great stretch on the forehand midway through this point. This one here in the full stretch, the ability to get the ball deep back in the court and steps up and rips the backhand down the line. Appreciated by Gabashvili. Brings up triple match point for the number 1 seed. Quite another day. Staves off the first one. Gabashvili. Still double match point for Rafael Nadal.
And it's long, so Rafa Nadal gets the job done tonight. Certainly had to work extremely hard for the best part of this match. 7-6, 7-6, 6-3. The world number 1 is through to the second round. of the US Open.
Well, he'll be a relieved man, Rafael Nadal, as he wasn't playing his best tennis. He came up against the guy who was inspired tonight. He made a lot of the running, but Rafa, as he always and often does, finds a way to win the match, and in the end it's a 3-sets-to-love win for Rafa. But this man can hold his head high. He put on a very good performance this evening.
He certainly did. Right from the start, he came out with a strong game plan. He was very committed to play aggressive tennis. He knew that was his only chance tonight, and really for the majority of this match he was right in it. Just that last 15 minutes or so, he just could not sustain it, and this man, Rafa Nadal, in the end, very, very relieved to be through.
Just great competitive spirit shown by Rafa throughout the whole match. Held his composure, and in the end, a deserved winner moves on to the second round.
Let's hear from Rafa Nadal.
Rafa, great to have you back in New York, fit, healthy, but a very tough match tonight, a very good opponent.
Well, thank you very much. For me, it's amazing come back to this tournament. You know how important for me is this tournament right now, and just very excited to come back to this center court. Very tough match tonight. Congratulate Timo because he did a good match, and I wish him the best of luck for the next. And well, just can say thank you very much, all the crowd here. They makes me feel unbelievable every time that I come back to this court.
Get the feeling also that people like the black outfit, but your serving tonight was outstanding.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, my serve tonight worked well. Just hopefully to continue like this. You know, my serve is not my best shot, but I always try hard to keep improving, and that's what I'm working all the time. I know if I want to have chances to win here, I don't know this year, but any year I need to serve really, really well. So that's one of the things I am more focused, I think.
Rafa, it's a late night. Well done. Rafael Nadal through to the second round.